Hello, I'm Jason Howland, and welcome to Speaking of Health, a place to help you learn how to live a longer and healthier life. You know, many people have New Year's resolutions, and it's a great motivator to do things like exercise more, eat right, or even quit smoking. For those of you out there hoping to get off to a healthy start this new year, well, this show is for you. Here to talk more about a healthy start to the new year is Dr. Stephen Campbell. Dr. Campbell is a family physician from Mayo Clinic Health System, and also Amy Connor. Amy is a certified wellness coach from Mayo Clinic Health System as well. Thank you both for joining us today here on Speaking of Health.
Thanks, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, let's start off by talking about having a health vision. Amy, can you explain exactly what is a health vision?
Health vision, or health or wellness vision, provides the foundation for change. It's the change that you want to make for your life. Your vision should describe who you want to be, how you want to feel, and what you want to be doing when you're living healthy.
So is the purpose of having that health vision, is the purpose of that to be a motivator? Is that what it's meant to be?
Identifying motivators is an important piece to the wellness vision. Motivators encourage you to take action. They actually, they fuel the desire to make change. And motivators are going to be different for everyone. It might be living longer to watch your children grow up. It might be being able to play with your children or grandchildren, to enjoy an active retirement. Or maybe it's to run a 5K, 10K, or marathon.
Well, you know, one of the most common New Year's resolutions that we hear, and probably everyone's either had this as a New Year's resolution or knows someone that has, is to lose weight. Dr. Campbell, to accomplish weight loss, it really does start with just eating healthier, right?
It does. That's one of the foundations for losing weight. When it comes to eating healthy, it's not as easy as one might think. It's important to start each day with breakfast, and many are notorious for skipping breakfast, maybe having a light lunch, and then having a larger supper and then snacking until bedtime. And we all know that's a recipe for weight gain. Eating the right things is a good start. 5 to 6 servings of fruits and vegetables daily, drinking 6 to 8 glasses of water daily. If one were to imagine what their dinner plate might look like, cut that plate in half, and on half of that plate should live your fruits or vegetables. And then on your other half, you split that in half again, and one half or a quarter of your plate would be your protein, your meat product, ideally more chicken and fish, and your other quarter would be your starch, such as potatoes or rice.
What are bad foods?
Foods that are high in fat, high in salt, that's the easy ones to point out. I remember someone saying to me a few years ago that if it's bought through a drive-through, it's probably not good for you. And there may be a lot of truth to that. Soft drinks, especially with sugar, energy drinks with sugar, those are a lot of calories that not only are many of our youth drinking, but so are adults.
How about fad diets? What are your opinions on fad diets? Because a lot of people, when they hope to lose weight to start the new year, they may go on a diet.
Sure. There's no shortage of advertising for various diets at this time of year. Personally, I don't like the word diet. It has the word die in it, and it also implies a short-term fix. As opposed to perhaps more longitudinal lifestyle changes, such as some of the eating habits we talked about, getting more physical activity. A lot of folks have had success on low-carb diets, low-fat diets, but again, it is important to have a balanced diet with your fruits, vegetables, meats, whole grains, dairy products, and a good resource would be choosemyplate.gov. That's a website that I have no affiliation with that really has done a nice job of moving from the food pyramid to a plate concept and helping folks understand the importance of a balanced diet.
Great. Well, Amy, can you tell us what does it mean to eat mindfully? I've heard that term before.
Sure. What you want to do is just pay attention to your eating patterns. This might include or involve writing down when you eat, what you're eating, why you're eating. It's, taking time to think twice about second helpings. Do you want to, wait 10 minutes after you're done with a meal before you decide to go back for more? Another one is to don't eat while you're watching TV or you're on the computer. You're much more likely to not think about, what you're eating, the amount you're eating, or even if you're hungry.
Well, another way to get a healthy start to the new year is to get regular exercise. So let's talk a little bit about fitness. Dr. Campbell, it sort of goes hand in hand with being healthy, right?
The laws of thermodynamics have not changed. In order to lose weight, we must burn more calories than we take in. So earlier we talked about the importance of healthy dietary choices. The other side of the equation is how can we become more physically active? I think many have this fear that in order to get more exercise, they have to join a fitness club. It's expensive. They might be intimidated by some maybe very healthy appearing people who go to fitness clubs and therefore don't go at all. Just as simple as going for a walk. That is more exercise than many people do. Currently, the recommendation is 30 minutes of physical activity most days of the week, and I define most as 5 out of 7. So 150 minutes of moderate physical activity a week, or 75 minutes of much more vigorous activity. And so if we just think about walking, which most of us can do, you don't have to do 30 minutes at a time. You can do 10 minutes 3 times in a day. You can take 15 minutes out of your lunch break and go for a 15-minute walk. There's all sorts of ways of getting that 150 minutes. Another strategy that I'm a big believer in is having a pedometer. Now, whether you're choosing to walk, run, cycle, rake leaves, whatever physical activity of choice, a pedometer, an instrument that counts your steps, can give you that real-time gauge on how you're doing. Many will set a goal of 10,000 steps in a day, which for many people works out to maybe an hour of walking. But more importantly, you can check that in real time as, come 5 o'clock at night, hey, how many steps am I at? Oh, I'm at 6,000. I better go for a walk this evening in order to get my 10,000 steps a day. So tracking what you do can be very helpful.
And technology, the way it is nowadays, there are lots of useful tools out there for people, right?
There are. All one has to do is use a Google search. One of my favorites is an app called loseit.com, and I have no affiliation with it. It's a free app that you can put on your smartphone as well as on your computer, and it's very easy to use. It tracks your calories for you. You just have to simply plug in what you ate, and there's a vast menu. It's very user friendly. It also helps track how many calories you've burned. Some pedometers automatically download into loseit.com. Others don't, and you just manually plug it in. And again, helps you track how much you're taking in, how much you're putting out in terms of exercise, and it can help you accomplish your goal, which in the case of loseit.com helps you set a weight loss goal.
Great. Well, Amy, getting started usually is the hardest step to really take in all this. What are some tips for people who want to begin exercising?
First of all, if you have not been active, you really should take some time to talk to your personal health care provider. You want to ensure that exercise is going to be safe and see if you have any restrictions that you need to follow. The big one with starting exercise would be to start slow. Start with an activity that you feel comfortable with. As Dr. Campbell mentioned, walking is a great form of exercise and something that everybody can do. Make it a priority. Schedule it into your day. You want to schedule it, and then you also want to make the commitment to keep a plan. As Dr. Campbell also mentioned, having an activity monitor or recording your progress, that's really going to help you. And another thing is to maybe involve your family member or friends. Make it social, make it enjoyable.
Well, another common New Year's resolution that we hear a lot about is I'm going to quit smoking this year. Dr. Campbell, it's pretty common knowledge smoking is bad for you, and also secondhand smoke is bad for the people around you. So quitting smoking, though, it's not an easy thing, is it?
It's not. Nicotine is one of the most addictive chemicals out there. There was a study several years ago that looked at the most successful ways of quitting smoking. And at that time, the most successful was having a heart attack. And the success rate was 70%, which means 30% continued to smoke despite having a serious life-threatening condition. Now, I have yet to meet a smoker who doesn't know the ravages that smoke can have on their bodies. And so I usually don't preach those things because they all know it. What I try to get from people is, are they ready to quit? Do they want to quit? Many don't want to quit at all. And so the conversation tends to end there. But if there's some feeling that there's some desire to quit, some readiness, that's where there's a lot of help out there. One of my favorite free resources for folks is the quitplan.com program through the state of Minnesota. It's completely free, and let's face it, not very many things in healthcare are free. And it's just a great resource to help folks. There's products out there such as nicotine replacement that some folks might need depending how much they smoke. There's patches, there's gums, there's lozenges. And then there's prescription medications that can help reduce the drive to smoke, and one typically has to consult with their primary care provider in order to seek such prescriptions. Yeah, I can't overemphasize the importance that someone has to want to quit smoking before proceeding with any of these nicotine replacement products or other potentially expensive products on the market.
And we should also note too that it's not just about smoking too. It's tobacco cessation period. So also folks that use chewing tobacco just as addictive, right?
Definitely, and unfortunately, we're seeing more chewing tobacco amongst the youth in our area, and it's so important that we emphasize to those younger folks how bad these products can be. And yes, tools that we use for cigarette smoking can also be used for folks who have a habit of chewing smokeless tobacco.
Well, for folks that are trying to quit and then have those cravings, what are some tricks that maybe they can use to help resist those cravings?
Some of the tricks that I've recommended to people over the years that they've shared with me have been successful have been things like having some coffee stir sticks in their pocket. And so instead of reaching for a cigarette, they chew and nibble on a coffee stir stick. Another trick is, take a Ziploc baggie full of carrots and celery to work with them. A much more figure-friendly option to replace cigarettes with.
Great. Well, most of what we've discussed so far has been about improving physical health, but often just as important can be a person's mental health, can it, Dr. Campbell?
Definitely. We all have stress. We all deal with stress differently. Why do folks overeat? Why do folks smoke? Often there's some stress component to it. When I meet with someone who quit smoking and has started again, and I ask why, the typical answer is stress related. My recommendation to people who are struggling with stress, it's truly interfering with how they carry about their day-to-day life, is to seek professional help, and starting with their own primary care provider is often a good place to start.
So Amy, for those that are feeling stress in their lives, what are some tips for relaxing?
Well, everyone relaxes differently. Whether it's, yoga, reading a book, taking a bath, volunteering. You want to be open, try different things, think about the ways that you can be recharged, whether it's physically, socially, or mentally, and then just make yourself a priority, make a commitment, and make a plan.
Great, and find what works for you.
Correct.
All right, well, unfortunately, we are all out of time, but I'd like to thank our guests today, Dr. Stephen Campbell, family physician at Mayo Clinic Health System, and Amy Connor, a certified wellness coach from Mayo Clinic Health System. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone, and be healthy.